Have you ever noticed how the moment you stop giving someone all of your time, all of your energy, and all of your attention, suddenly they start noticing you more? The same person who once took your presence for granted begins to wonder why you're no longer chasing. That silence, that space you create, it's louder than any words you could say. And this is the secret shift that changes everything. When you give someone unlimited access to you, your time, your energy, and your presence, what happens? They stop appreciating it. It's not that they're evil or ungrateful, it's simply human psychology. We are wired to take abundance for granted. The more available something is, the less our mind values it. It's the same with relationships. If you are always available, always calling, always texting, always trying to prove yourself, your value starts to decline in her eyes. Scarcity creates value. Think about gold, diamonds, luxury cars, or even limited edition sneakers. What makes them valuable? It's not just the quality, it's the scarcity. It's the fact that not everyone can have them, not everyone can touch them, not everyone has access to them. And the same principle applies to you. When you pull back, you create scarcity. When you're not always there at her call, when you're not instantly replying to every text, when you're not available 24/7, you become rare. And rarity demands attention. You see, attraction isn't built on constant availability. It's built on a balance of closeness and distance, of giving and pulling back. Too much closeness suffocates. Too much giving makes her numb. Too much availability kills the chase. But when you pull back, you suddenly break the pattern. She's left wondering, wait, what happened? Why isn't he chasing anymore? That gap, that silence, that absence, it makes her question her own behavior toward you. Here's the harsh truth. If she never fears losing you, she will never truly value you. If she knows you'll always be there no matter how she treats you, she won't take you seriously. But when you pull back, you're indirectly showing her, I'm not afraid to walk away. I'm not desperate for your attention. My time is precious. And believe me, nothing attracts a woman more than a man who values himself enough to not be taken for granted. Now, understand this clearly. Pulling back is not about playing games. It's not about manipulation. It's about reclaiming your worth. It's about realizing that you should never beg for a seat at someone's table. You are the prize. You are the rare gem. And if she doesn't see that, your absence will remind her of it more than your presence ever could. Have you ever noticed how someone ignores your message for hours, but the moment you stop caring and stop replying instantly, suddenly they want to double text you? That's not coincidence, that's psychology. Human beings crave what they don't fully have. Desire is built in the gap between wanting and receiving. So when you create that gap, you trigger her curiosity, her desire, and her interest. Pulling back is powerful because it changes the dynamic. You stop over-investing and she starts questioning. Instead of you proving yourself to her, now she feels the urge to prove herself to you. Instead of you chasing, she begins to wonder what's pulling your attention away from her. She starts asking, who's he with? Why is he not calling? Why is he so calm? Why doesn't he need me the way he used to? And suddenly the roles reverse. But let me warn you, pulling back only works if you truly value yourself. If deep down you're panicking, checking your phone, waiting for her reaction, then you're not really pulling back. You're pretending. Real scarcity comes from genuine confidence. It comes from knowing that you are complete with or without her, that your worth doesn't depend on her validation, that you are not afraid of silence because you know your presence has power. Scarcity is not about disappearing completely. It's about balance. It's about giving enough to show interest, but holding back enough to maintain your value. It's about being warm but not clingy, available but not desperate, loving but not begging. That fine line is where attraction thrives. So understand this once and for all. You are not valuable because you're always available. You are valuable because you are selective with your time, your attention, and your energy. The moment you start treating yourself like a limited edition luxury, others will too. And when you pull back, when you create that scarcity, that's when she will finally realize your value was never in chasing her. Your value was in knowing you never had to. There is something magnetic about mystery, something that makes people lean in, pay attention, and start asking questions they never asked before. In relationships, mystery is one of the most powerful tools you can ever hold. The moment you become predictable, the moment you give away every thought, every plan, every emotion without restraint, you lose a piece of your allure. Human nature is wired to chase the unknown. And when you pull back, when you stop explaining every move, when you stop oversharing every detail, you create mystery. And mystery makes her curious in ways you could never force with words. Think about it. When a movie reveals everything in the first 10 minutes, do you still want to watch the rest? Probably not. But when the story unfolds slowly, when the characters keep secrets, when you're left guessing, suddenly you can't take your eyes off the screen. The same dynamic exists between you and her. If she knows everything about you, if she can predict every text, every call, every reaction, then she doesn't need to wonder. But when you pull back, when you introduce silence where she expected noise, you shift her focus. Now she's asking herself, what's he up to? Who's he with? Why does he seem so calm? Why isn't he reacting the way he used to? Mystery is not about manipulation. It's about boundaries. It's about not handing out unlimited access to your inner world. Because when you keep parts of yourself reserved, when you leave her with unanswered questions, you invite her imagination to do the work. And here's the truth. Her imagination is far more powerful than anything you could actually tell her. The unknown version of you will always feel more attractive in her mind than the predictable version of you she thinks she already figured out. The mistake most men make is thinking that the way to keep a woman's attention is to constantly remind her of their presence, to text nonstop, to call every hour, to announce every plan. But this doesn't build attraction, it kills it. Why? Because it removes all curiosity. And curiosity is the foundation of desire. When she doesn't know everything about you, she has a reason to keep thinking about you. And the more she thinks about you in your absence, the stronger her attachment becomes. Let's be real. Mystery is exciting. It keeps the mind restless. It makes the heart beat a little faster. It pushes her to start investigating, to start analyzing your behavior, to start replaying your last words in her mind. And when you master this, you no longer need to chase her attention because her curiosity will pull her back to you. Now, don't confuse mystery with being cold, rude, or distant. It's not about shutting down or acting uninterested. It's about being intentional. It's about giving just enough to spark interest, but holding back enough to keep her guessing. It's about creating moments where she realizes she doesn't fully have you figured out. That realization is what makes her lean in closer. Let me put it this way. When you were constantly available, constantly explaining yourself, constantly trying to prove your worth, she stopped being curious. She knew the ending of the story before the book was even finished. But when you pull back, you reintroduce unpredictability. And unpredictability is what reignites curiosity. Here's the irony. The less you reveal, the more she wants to know. The less you chase, the more she wonders why. The less you explain, the more she analyzes. You flip the dynamic. Instead of you asking, what's she thinking? Why isn't she responding? Now she's the one stuck asking those questions about you. Mystery makes her invest. It forces her to put mental energy into you. And the more energy she invests, the deeper her attachment grows. Remember this: people value what they have to work for. When she has to think, when she has to wonder, when she has to decode you, she is investing in you emotionally. An emotional investment is the glue of attraction. So if you've been giving everything away too easily, if you've been too predictable, too available, too transparent, pull back. Protect parts of your life, protect your emotions, protect your attention. Let her feel the distance. Let her ask questions. Let her wonder. Because in that wonder lies her desire to know you more, to chase you more, and to value you more. When you are constantly chasing, constantly overgiving, constantly waiting for her response, you lose more than just her attention. You lose yourself. Your emotions stop belonging to you. They become tied to her moods, her actions, her words. If she texts back, you're happy. If she doesn't, you're broken. If she shows affection, you feel alive. If she pulls away, you spiral into anxiety. That's not love, that's emotional slavery. And as long as you are emotionally dependent on her validation, you will never feel balance within yourself. But the moment you pull back, something powerful happens. You start to feel your emotional balance returning. You're no longer on a roller coaster of highs and lows dictated by her behavior. Instead, you step into stability. You reclaim control over your feelings. Suddenly, you realize, I don't have to live in reaction to her. I can live in response to myself. That shift changes everything. Think of it like this: when your entire mood depends on someone else's attention, you're not in control. You're trapped in a cycle of hope and disappointment. But when you step back, when you create space, when you stop investing your whole emotional world into one person, you find equilibrium, you find peace. That peace makes you powerful because nothing and no one can shake a man who is emotionally balanced. Pulling back isn't just about making her miss you, it's about making you remember you. Because somewhere along the line, you forgot yourself. You forgot your own life, your own goals, your own identity, because you made her the center of your world. And that's why you felt so drained. Balance returns when you stop worshiping her attention and start prioritizing your own energy. Here's the raw truth: women respect men who are grounded, not men who lose themselves over every word or every move she makes. If she can control your emotions, she will lose attraction. Why? Because deep down, every woman is drawn to a man who is steady, centered, and strong. A man who doesn't crumble under silence. A man who doesn't lose himself when she pulls away. A man who can stand firm no matter what storm comes his way. That's emotional balance, and it's magnetic. When you pull back, you stop begging for her emotional crumbs. You start feeding yourself with attraction is not about who tries harder, it's about who stands stronger. And nothing is stronger, nothing is more unshakable, nothing is more attractive than a man who is in control of himself. One of the most shocking shifts you'll ever experience in relationships is this: the moment you pull back, the chase flips. For so long, you were the one doing the chasing. You were the one texting first, calling first, planning everything, begging for her attention. You thought if you just tried harder, gave more, proved yourself more, she would finally see your worth. But instead, what happened? She pulled away. She stopped valuing your effort. She got comfortable knowing you'd never stop pursuing her. But the moment you stop, everything changes. When you pull back, when you stop feeding her with endless attention, when you stop running after her like she's the prize, you trigger something powerful inside her. She starts the chase. Here's why. Human nature is wired to pursue what we feel we might lose. When something is guaranteed, when it's always there, when it never requires effort, we get bored. We stop appreciating it. But when that same thing begins to pull away, when it becomes harder to reach, when it feels like it could slip away forever, suddenly we value it more. That's exactly what happens when you stop chasing her. She realizes your presence isn't guaranteed anymore. She feels the shift. And that shift makes her panic. At first, she might test you. She'll wonder if you're serious. She'll wait for you to break and come running back. But when you don't, when you hold your ground, when you remain calm and balanced, something flips in her mind. The fear of losing you starts to outweigh the comfort of having you. And that's when the chase begins. She'll start texting you first. She'll start asking why you're so quiet. She'll suddenly have time for you, even though before she was too busy. She'll want to know where you are, who you're with, what's keeping you so occupied that she no longer has your full attention. And make no mistake, this isn't about games. This is about psychology. The moment she feels you slipping away, she has to act. She has to reinvest because deep down, she knows your energy is valuable. But here's the key. You cannot chase her back the moment she turns around. If you do, the cycle repeats. She'll lose interest again. You must hold your ground. Let her chase. Let her invest. Let her feel what it's like to work for your time, your attention, and your presence. Because when she chases, she invests. And when she invests, she values you more. Men often make the mistake of thinking that women lose interest forever once they pull back. That's not true. If there was genuine attraction, pulling back doesn't kill it, it reignites it. It forces her to wake up to the reality that she could lose you. And that fear is far more powerful than any attention you could have given her. When she starts the chase, notice how her energy shifts. The same woman who was distant suddenly becomes curious. The same woman who acted cold now acts warm. The same woman who thought she had you figured out now feels uncertain. That uncertainty makes her move. That uncertainty makes her reach out. That uncertainty makes her work harder for your presence. And this is where you reclaim your power. Because now you're no longer operating from desperation, you're operating from choice. You get to decide whether her effort is genuine, whether her chase is consistent, whether her actions align with the value you deserve. You're no longer begging for her attention. You're evaluating whether her attention is even worth accepting. That's what pulling back does. It puts you back in the position of power where you belong. So remember this, she will never start the chase as long as you never stop chasing. If you continue to overinvest, if you continue to beg, if you continue to sacrifice your worth just to keep her, she will never feel the need to pursue you. But the moment you pull back, the moment you reclaim your self-respect, the moment you show her you are not afraid to walk away, she will feel it. And when she feels it, she will chase. There comes a moment in every man's life where he has to stop asking, why doesn't she see my worth? And start asking, why did I forget my own worth in the first place? You've been told that the way to make someone love you is to give endlessly, to sacrifice everything, to be available at all times. But what did that give you? Did it bring you respect? Did it deepen attraction? Or did it slowly drain you of your power until you felt invisible? The truth is, no one values what they don't have to work for. That's not cynicism. That's psychology. Scarcity creates value. Mystery keeps curiosity alive. Emotional balance restores your power. And when you stand firm in all of this, the dynamic flips. She starts the chase. She begins to see what she couldn't see before. She starts realizing your energy, your presence, your effort were never cheap. They were rare, they were precious, and they were never meant to be taken for granted. But here's the deeper point. It's not really about her, it's about you. Pulling back isn't just a tactic to make her run after you. It's a process of reclaiming yourself. When you stop overgiving, you create space for self-respect. When you stop being predictable, you create room for curiosity. When you stop tying your emotions to her behavior, you find balance. And when you stop chasing, you realize you never had to in the first place. Because the right people don't need to be begged to stay, they choose to stay. Think about how much energy you've wasted worrying about someone else's approval. Every late night text waiting for a reply, every desperate call, every overthought message. It didn't just exhaust you, it conditioned you to believe that you weren't enough. But what happens when you redirect that energy? When you pour it back into yourself, when you stop needing constant reassurance from her and start finding stability in your own identity? That's when you rise. That's when you walk differently. That's when your presence alone speaks volumes without you saying a word. Because women, like all human beings, are drawn to strength. Not arrogance, not coldness, but strength. The kind of strength that says, I want you, but I don't need you. I choose you, but I'm not afraid to lose you. That balance is what makes a man unshakable. And unshakable men are magnetic. Some of you listening right now need to hear this. Your biggest mistake wasn't loving too much. It was forgetting yourself in the process. You put her so high on a pedestal that you stopped seeing your own value. You gave her all the power